Okay, now that we've got our fine mill path set up and it looks great and that's what we want, what we need to do now, if you notice in that fine mill path, it comes in and tries to mill out a hole. Well, that's pretty normal. So, because it's looking at all the features that are out there and it's going to immediately try to make that plunge. So what we want to try to do here is we want to try to set up what we call an avoid. You see down here it's got avoid features. I can expand that and I can actually open that and edit that. So what I do in the avoid is I'll come in and I'll pick a surface that I don't want to be milled out, and I'll select another surface here that I don't want to be milled out, and I'll say OK. Now what we'll do is we'll come back over here and we'll do a generate toolpath again, and we'll see if it doesn't pick up that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to come back and I'm going to have to create a sketch that hides all that. So it's processing it. It looks like it found it. So let's come back up here and check that toolpath. No, it's still trying to mill it out. So let's go ahead and run this and just verify that. I'll do a simulate on, again, my friend the simulator, and I'll hit process. I'm just going to go to the airplane here and just go. Oh, yeah, it's trying to mill it out. So we want to fix that. So let's get out of that, and what I'm going to do here now is do a right mouse click and I'm going to say new avoid area, and I'm going to click on this sketch here, which highlights that, and click on that sketch there and highlight that. If I can get that to highlight, looks like it's not highlighting. I'll get this as well, and let's see if this works. We'll go ahead and try to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to come back and create another mill part setup just to avoid that one area. So we'll do that. Everything's changed and be recalculated. Let's see if we fixed it this time. This is kind of new in how CAMWorks is actually doing that from the previous version I wrote my book on. Let's see what we got here. Let's go ahead and do the simulate again, and we'll just go to the airplane, make sure it goes fast, hit boom. Let's see what we got. Okay, it got one of them. That's good. Let's try to add another one and see if we can do it on the back side. You can see where it's passing over that one, but in this one you can see where the tool paths are actually going into the hole. So let's try to add, let's come up here and add a new avoid area, and on this one I'm going to select that and I'm going to hit OK. It needs to be recalculated. Let's see what it does. Going and doing the processing, and let's check on that. Looks like it missed it that time. It may have picked it up over here again. Now let's go check the front. I think we might be good here. So okay, it took a little bit of dinking with that or messing with that. We'll go ahead and process that, and let's see if the tool paths are good. Yes, they're good. That's what we want to see right there. Okay, so that's good. So we're going to go ahead, and now that we've protected that and we've got that safe, that's really, really good. So let's go ahead and rebuild our file real quick, and we'll save that real quick. And now what I want to do is I want to go back to my strategy right here, my CAMWorks feature tree. I'm going to see if on this right here, if I can do a right mouse click and generate a 2.5 axis feature. So what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to come up here and select this 2.5 axis feature here and this 2.5 axis feature there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to set up a hole operation. There it is. And what I'm going to do, I got these two loops here, set up a hole operation, and I'm going to come down here, got those two entities selected, and we're going to check this off. I think I can check this off. Let's go ahead. Oh, in condition. I got to fix the in condition. Now, let's go ahead and look at the back of the car so I can kind of see this a little bit better. I'll click on this, rotate it around. So what CAMWorks is going to do is going to try to drill this hole out, as you can see right here in the green area. Problem is, it's not deep enough. So I know my block is 42 inches, so 42 millimeters, I'm sorry. It's kind of a big block. I'm just going to use my up arrow, and I'm going to go right through the other side of that. And that's about the distance I want to go, just enough where my tool goes all the way through on the other side. Now again, I've got a tool that's 2.5 inches, so I've got more than a ½ inch of shoulder left on that tool before the collet would actually run into it. So that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and verify any of that. We don't need to do any tapers or anything like that. It says strategy. We got a drill going. That's good. Wow, it'd be kind of cool to do a bore. Wouldn't that be nice? Tool. Okay, we're going to have to fix the tool. Well, that's no problem. We can fix that. We'll X that. So go ahead and accept that. Now, see how it's got right here it says whole group. Well, it's actually because it's two holes. That's why it's a whole group, but it's pink. So that means we need to come over here on the pink, and we need to create an operations plan. Now, it looks like we may have our old same problem again with that, so we may have to come back over here, and let's go ahead and look at this. Yep, we're going to have to come back in and check our licenses again. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, as they say. Real quick thing, make sure you always have on your mill part setup, verify again that your tool is going in the right direction. Sure enough, those licenses are not selected again. It's just losing that each time. So I'll go ahead and say update licenses again, and it'll process that. And as soon as that's processed and shows that all of these are selected, we'll X out of that. We'll go right mouse click on this, and we'll say generate operations plan. Now, the beauty of this is it came down here and it said generate operations plan, and it put it in the mill part setup. What I want to do here is I want to select this, and I want to drag this up to the top. Okay? The reason I'm doing this is I'm bringing it up to the top because I want this to be cut out first. Now, one thing you need to note is that it's got a center punch here where it's doing a center bore, and then it's going to come in and it's going to do an outer drill. We don't need that. We don't need a center because we're dealing with balsa wood. So we're just going to right mouse click, and we're going to come down here and delete that center drill. We don't need that. We'll say, okay, see you later, buddy. Now, on this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to edit that definition. Now, the benefit of keeping, let's go back for 1 second. The benefit of going over here and keeping our whole group and all this kind of stuff in the same area, the benefit of doing that is that it allows me to use the benefit of having set up that mill part setup. So that means I don't have to go back and modify that and all that kind of stuff. That's not necessary. And automatically know where my offset's going to be. So let's go ahead and right mouse click on this, and let's start editing that definition. Of course, the first thing we want to do is come over here to Tools, and we want to go to our tool crib, and we want to get tool what? Tool 32. So we get tool 32, got it, that's good. Feeds and speeds, wish I had a spindle that only ran 3,000 RPMs. Okay, so we got that. On our Z, we're going to hit tab on that. We're going to leave that Z rate at that. Feed per revolution, that's good. Drill hole parameters. We've got drilling and we got pecking. I'm kind of a pecking guy. I like to peck that out and see what it looks like. Or I can just do a drill itself. We're going to go with the pecking operation because as you go in and you pull out, you're going to be pulling out material. So I'm going to go down 1/8 of an inch each time I drill, and it'll go down, drill, and come out. Go down, drill, come out. That's kind of nice. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to go to our hole parameters. Again, we have the mill part setup. So we're going to go with that, and we're going to go with that on our setup definition. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. And I'll zoom this out here a little bit, and it looks pretty good. The only thing I'm really cautious about is this traverse line here. That's too low. So what I'm going to do is come back over here to this, and I'm going to change a setting. I have to go find it. And on the skim plane right here, it says retract between features. Right now it's set on 0, so it's going to go right across the top of that block. That's too close for my comfort. I'm going to set it to 1/2 inch, and now I'm going to preview this. I like that a whole lot better. So that means it's not going to go from one feature to the next and just drill a hole right through my block. I've done that a few times, so I wouldn't recommend that. But that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and do a preview on that. So it's going to preview, it's going to process. That's good. It's already done. Let's go ahead and get out of that. Oh, by the way, down here in our recycle bin, if we don't no longer need that, we can just empty that out. It says, are you sure you want to? Yes, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure I want to get rid of that. So now let's go to simulate, and let's just kind of look at what that one feature is going to do. So we'll do a right mouse click, and we'll do a simulate. And let's kind of see what she's going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just run that. Yeah, that looked pretty good. Let's rewind that again, and I'm going to slow that down just a little bit. So now it's going to watch. The key I'm looking for on that is the traverse, how it goes from one side to the next. So let's try that one more time. Actually, let's look at something here real quick. You know, we got a problem right here. I'm glad we did the simulate. We need to come in and actually do a boring operation. So that would need to be, see on the drill, the pecking, it just comes in and just pecks that hole out. And that's not what we want, because we got to put an 1/8 inch bush, we got to put a 1/4 inch bushing in there. So that's why simulating is important. So let's go back and let's edit that one more time. And let's go back to our drill hole parameters, and we're going to say drill. So drilling, let's see what that does. Go back to NC, we know that's good. Got our, okay, let's do a preview. And let's see what we get here. We'll simulate that. Yep, we got to change our tool strategy. That's not going to work. So we'll X out of that. We'll go back over here to our, in fact, we're just going to delete this. This isn't going to work, so we're going to delete that. I'm glad we did this because it's been a long time since I personally have done it, and that's why I want to go back and verify this. So on this whole group right there, what I'm thinking about doing on that is I can edit that feature list there, which allows me to edit which features I want to edit or take out. Nope, we don't want to do that. We're just going to delete it. So we're going to delete that feature in our strategy, get rid of it. We'll empty that out of a recycling bin. That's good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come back over here and we're going to right mouse click and we're going to say 2.5 axis feature. So probably what would make more sense on this is to do a pocket. So we're going to pocket that, and we've got to select our features that we're going to get. We're going to get these two right here. And we're going to go ahead, and that looks pretty good. Pocket type, let's get the end condition. And what we're going to do on that is, let's go ahead and move the car around to the dragster around to the back. We're going to say rough finish. We're actually going to do a fine. And we're going to set our end condition here. We'll go ahead and get rid of the tool. Now we got to change that later. This is one we got to be pretty careful on here when we did our mill part setup. That looks good. Okay, again, if we were just using an 1/8 inch axle and we weren't worried about putting a bushing in, we'd just said the drill would have been fine, but that's not going to work. So I like this, and let's check any other parameters here we might be missing. I think we're okay on that, so we'll go ahead and check that off. Now we're just going to grab this one right here. Let's do a rebuild real quick, and we'll take this guy here, and you know, I think it did the same thing to me again on that CAMWorks license, so let's go check that again. Yeah, I'm going to have to call those boys tomorrow. Yeah, sure enough, there it is. So we'll go ahead and fix that real quick. Hit update license. Should have just said select all. Go back and get those license selected, and as soon as that highlights, I'll delete that and we'll create that mill part setup. Alright, so right mouse click, new generate operations plan. So it goes over here, puts the contour in, everything looks good there. Again, we'll take this and drag it, bring it up here to the top because I want that to cut out first. Grab this one, move it down to here. Alright, so we got that contour set up. Again, we'll right mouse click, we'll go to edit definition. We're going to come up here, change our tool to tool 32, go to our crib. Go down to our crib, get tool 32, always hit select, so make sure you got it. Feeds and speeds, 10,000 RPMs. Alright, let's actually it's 1,000, let's go 10,000. Okay. So feed rate, you know, it's probably okay to leave that feed rate because we're doing a small delicate area. I will up this to 30% of that feed rate, so that'll be a little faster. And let's go to our contour. Allowance side parameter 0, that's what we want. First cut amount, we're going to say 0.125. Actually, on the first cut amount, I'm going to say a 1/16, and that way, in case the material is not exactly consistent, or the block is not consistent, which I've seen that many times. Then I'll say my next cut amount will be 1/8 of an inch, so I'll go 1.125. Okay, that's incorrect. That looks good. Let's go to our NC operations. Let's go to definitely, I'm going to say over the stock probably 0.25. Okay, we're going to go back on this operation here, say 0.125, and then our skin plane distance, definitely we're going to say 0.5. Okay, I'm liking all that. I think we're good on most of this. Let's say lead in operation, that's all good. We'll say okay, and we'll go ahead and we'll post, whoops, get out of that. We'll go ahead and do a right mouse click, say generate toolpath. Let me see what we got. Okay, the big one I'm concerned about, yeah, is this toolpath. Now this is actually better because you're going to come in and you're going to cut this and you're going to come back out. You're going to cut this and come back out. So it's going to be able to remove any chips or dust or material out of there, so it doesn't create a burn inside there or gall up the end of your tool, particularly if you're using metal. But we're going to go ahead and look at that. It goes all the way through the other side. So let's simulate that. That's my thing. I like to simulate. It's always good to simulate because, you know, it's a whole lot better to see there it's going in and boring down. That's actually pretty cool. So we'll let that run. As it's doing that, I can kind of rotate this around. Let's see if it goes through the backside. Should be coming through here in a second. Ah, there it goes. See, it's poking its little head through there. Now it traversed over here without going across that skin plane. That's a good thing. Very good thing. Because if you do that, you just ruined a block if you don't get that traverse up high enough. It's ruined the block and your car's going to look not good. So this fixes that. Alright, again, let's check the other side and see it poke through right there. There she is. She's poking right through. So that looks pretty good. Now, again, I'm the simulation fanatic, so I like to go ahead and do all this. So I don't really need to set a contain or a void because that's really the only area I'm milling on that. So for the contour there, and that all looks good. All my tools are the same. Let's go ahead and do another simulate of all of this, and we'll go down here, set our speed to 50. Speed this bad boy up. Okay. And we'll move this all the way up here to the top, and we'll see it go really quick. Oh, there she goes. Got our holes cut out, avoided that edge. Looks really super good. It's cutting down the side. Yep, I think we got a good toolpath set up for this one side of the car, so that's going to be awesome. Very good. Okay, we like that. So again, we'll do a rebuild, and we shall come back to that.